You ready? All right. Look, dog, I'm extra unique. My whole aura screen telling it. Stop playing.
Underrated podcast. We got some very special guests on this episode. To my left, Tyrese Rice, Trusted Legacy, Keem Williams, Power Vision, George Williams playing overseas, Shannon Short of the Underrated Podcast. This is a very special episode to me. We talking about strategic hustle, and we're going to let Keem tell you what exactly that mean and the embodiment of it and etc.
Well, for one, I mean, we started off with a great group of guys, you know, ex-professional athletes, ex-Houston natives, VA as well. And, you know, we just wanted to put something together for, you know, other athletes in the sports world as well as people transition out of the sports world and just bridge the gap between business and sports. That way we can kind of help people see different career paths and, you know, ultimately just give people different options as they decide to transition and build while they're still playing sports.
Okay, each of us got our own brand. I'm going to start with you, Reese, with Trusted Legacy. How does that like transition into what we trying to build as a group?
At the end of the day, it's a community. You know, it's a community of people who coming together to do something that's greater than them. And that's ultimately what Trusted Legacy is, trying to build through the communities, through the kids, bring people on that can be like valuable resources and also help for the kids. And then now we put that with strategic hustle and we bring in the community of professionals too.
Mm-hmm.
So we really get to bring in a whole landscape of people,
Mm-hmm.
you know, all at once. So, you know, that's why, you know, it aligns.
How important is it for Trusted Legacy to impact the youth before we reach to, you know, the businesses and etc.? Because I know you in the communities with the youth through your mental health programs, through your basketball camps, through your outreach. Let's just tap into that.
That's where it starts. You know, it starts with the youth. And if we can be an influence, you know, to them, then who knows, you know, where they could take it. You know, one of my goals, and I say this a lot about Trusted Legacy, is it's not about what I can do with it. It's about somebody seeing it and doing it 10 times better than I could have ever done it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that starts with the youth. You know, that starts with the young guys. That starts with that influence that we have, all being former athletes, being professional athletes. Basketball is becoming, it was already a global game, but now it's on a whole nother level. And it's a lot of different ways for us to be able to go in and affect the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you on the podcast, Keem in business, George in marketing. So you got all these different ways to show these young guys that it could be done. And when you do that and you put it together, you come up with something that's huge.
Yes, Lord, real life. Keem, you got a very big impact in the city right now. You know, you training a lot of people, a lot of youth, got a nice little lineage under your portfolio, if you will. Power Vision. Can you tell us exactly what that is and the impact you trying to have on the youth and through your outreach?
So, I mean, Power Vision for me is something that I kind of stamped back in 2013, which pray, work, repeat, which is the power within everything that we do. And then VSN stands for Visualize Success Now. And that's one of the things I've always preached to myself as an athlete, but now as a trainer, as a coach, that's what I want to instill in all the people that I train. And now that I've kind of veered over into business, the same things that I want to give to the people on that side. And like Reese said, it starts in the community. It starts with the kids. I mean, I think a good foundation that just sets everything else up for success down the line.
How long you been in this field that you in as far as like training and being an impact, being an inspiration? You done been all over the world coaching. We gonna get into it, but let's just stick to Houston, Texas.
Honestly, I would have to say my entire life. I mean, coming up, I was always observant. So I'm in the lab with Lucas. My dad was an agent for a lot of great players down the line. Had a lot of guys staying at the house, seeing my dad train them, be, you know, his own agency and just do all those things, as well as being around, you know, great minds, great basketball people like Daryl Anderson, who's a great coach out here right now. Just everybody from Coach Green at Hightower on. So I've always been able to take that knowledge in. And I think around high school, I started training younger guys, started training people my age. As, you know, I got a little bit older, you know, me and House, I used to call my boy every day, hey, 6 o'clock, we gotta go get it.
Mhm.
Yeah, you Mac All-American. Yeah, you that guy, but I ain't there yet. So shit, you on this team. We
Real
in this
life.
motherfucker together. So it just kind of, went on all through my life. College, worked with younger kids. And then, when I got that call coming out of college to work in the NBA, it was over with. Was
that always the vision though, that you wanted to get to that plateau, so to speak?
The one thing I tell kids now, which is the same thing I did, was, be intentional. And I think I should have been a little bit more intentional, but I always said I wanted to get to the NBA, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got to the NBA. It just
And
wasn't
then
as
it
a player.
just wasn't, yeah.
It just wasn't as a player. So, I took that and embraced it and, look back at it and laugh now because, that's what I asked for and God gave me that. So to say, is that what I saw for success? That's what I asked for and that's what I got.
Okay. G Will, my A-Leaf partner. You hear me? We go way back. I just had to throw A-Leaf in the spirit, but hey, let's stay in tune. Let's stay in tune. Okay, playing overseas. You've been overseas for 12, 13. Let's just say a while.
Yeah.
Right? So when did you start thinking about post-basketball? That's the first question.
Post-basketball. Man, a few years ago, a lot of the guys I've seen before me and grew up looking at, I saw the struggles they went through after playing. And I just told myself I never wanted to be in that position. So I started, formulating, devising plans to figure out how I could stay around the game and, still make use of the game. And of course, make some money doing something I still love.
Mm-hmm.
And my journey to playing professional was a road less travel. So, I just thought I'd come up with different ways to make it easier for other guys to start theirs.
Okay, so your social, I ain't gonna lie, like I know I love ball,
Yeah,
right. And for me to say this, that means it's a real thing, bro. Like, I ain't never seen too many people work as hard as you do.
Yeah,
right?
man.
So you got to have a certain love, a certain passion for what you're doing. Where did that stem from?
Man, from just always being the guy overlooked at, from a young age. I feel like I've always been around great players, on teams with great players, and I was just the guy in the back that, was that guy in the back, I guess you would say. So for me, I knew I always had to work a little bit harder. My game was different. I was never crazy athletic or, so the game for me was something I had to work at every day. Even till now, like I tell guys, if I don't go to the gym, I feel off. My game feels funny or something. So that just became a habit of mine. And same thing I use going into the business side, something I work at every day. Sometimes I don't need to sleep, I'm just up working, trying to figure things out. But that's definitely been the driving factor in my career.
For those who don't know, you the head honcho of playing overseas?
Yes.
Can you let exactly what that is and how you helping other athletes through your platform?
For sure. Playing overseas is a digital marketing platform. Started it really just messing around and had a couple of posts and things go viral and caused me to realize that no matter what level you're playing on, we all going through the same thing. So a lot of guys started reaching out, asking for help or just questions about traveling and playing overseas. And from that, I got a few guys jobs and coaches jobs. And after that, just took off. So now I'm doing marketing, a little bit of affiliate marketing, have different companies I'm working with, surrounded around sports in general. So let me not even say basketball, it's overseas sports in general.
Okay. So this wasn't really something you like, it was something you was just like really torn with at first, right?
Yeah.
And then you had your moment, epiphany, so if you will, when it was something went viral.
It was Filet, the Filet got something. Comment or said something, and one of my boys hit me like, yo, I was like, nah, just something I posted. So the more as the page began to grow, there's a lot of different athletes, I would say big names, so to speak, started reaching out and, sharing posts and, everybody identifying with the same things I was going through. And I'm like, I'm nowhere necessarily on that level of, maybe the league or the same journey, but I realized no matter which way you went about it, we all going through the same thing at the end of the day.
Yeah. Reese, I always tell you, bro, you one of them ones. You know what I'm saying? I got real love and respect for you, for your journey, for what you did. 10 years, the resume speaks for itself. We ain't got to get into a check into Tyrese Rice episode on the Underrated Podcast. You can get all the information you want to get. But I say all that to say, like, once you got to 10 years, when did did your mindset shift prior to, was Trusted Legacy already in motion before you retired, or like what was that process like?
No, it wasn't in motion. It was just me and my homeboys. We were just talking about trying to do something in the community, just trying to be pillars. You know, I got a couple homeboys that were, you know, big playing football in our areas, all state, all time leading rushers, you know, stuff like that. And we were just thinking of ways that we could give back. You know, again, as mentioned before, just trying to be a pillar and a resource. And we came up with Trusted Legacy. Now, how it got into the performance area and, you know, working with guys and all of that, that just kind of happened. I'm going to say during COVID, you know, during COVID, that was my last year playing. You know, that was going to be my last year either way.
Regardless.
Yeah, that would have been my last year regardless. So, you know, I went back and I got my master's, and as I'm going through that master's process,
tell the people what you got your master's in. I know.
In health psychology.
Okay. What was the reasoning behind that?
Honestly, it was either that or sports psychology, and I just wanted to do something different. I felt like sports was something that was already me. Been playing basketball for a long time, man. I got a doctorate in that, you know, so I don't need to do more sports, you know what I mean? So, you know, I got into health psychology to understand environments and where people come from. I started to get statistics on, you know, just different things and the different things that are attainable, you know, for people in certain areas and different demographics. And it was, you know, eye-opening to be in those classes with, you know, I mean, it just is what it is with a lot of white people, older white people. And I'm the only young black dude to understand the whole other side. So some of the things that they're talking about that they have that were attainable to them, I'm like, that's not on the other side. So the statistics that y'all see, and you only understanding it from one piece. And so the more that I got into that and really began to understand what people were really able to utilize and what they weren't able to utilize, that's when, you know, the other aspects came into play for Trusted Legacy.
So with Trusted Legacy, obviously you live in Houston now, but I'm sure you probably wanted your roots to be back in VA.
Yeah.
Was that your thought process then? You wanted it to expand to other regions? And what was your plan behind that? Like, what was your plan to get it to Houston? Now you're in Houston. Obviously you got some following now. I know back home you already solidified. So what's next? What's the plan with that?
I do want to get some things going to other regions. In the beginning, it was just, you know, do events, do community events, put together some programs, throw stuff out there, see what people respond to. You know, I didn't really have a plan. I was just kind of winging it, really.
Yeah.
Now we getting a little bit more structure. Got my man Keem over there helping me with that. I be listening to him talk. I swear.
I swear he's a visionary.
Yeah, and it's at that time for me to really organize and put things together. So now it's, you know, of course we're gonna always do stuff back home. I'm here in Houston, so since I'm here, I'm gonna do something where my feet are always. And then up in Boston, I'm doing a few things out there, and you know, wherever it kind of leads me to. If it takes me to Canada or Florida or, you know, wherever, then that's where we're going.
You just accessible.
That's where we're gonna go, and we're gonna put something together, and we're gonna make sure that we try to leave some kind of imprint on the youth, because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. But also not just affecting the youth, but, you know, the professionals, you know, the athletes, the ones that are, you know, just trying to do something that's bigger than them and greater than them.
Good word. How does Power Vision, you say you want to bridge the gap between businesses and young athletes and et cetera. What are you trying, what steps are you taking to make that happen?
Through Power Vision, for me, it's always going to be about the collective. The reason why I didn't even want to name it Keem Williams Training or anything like that is because I wanted to build a team. I wanted to build something that other people could be proud of, and they could feel like they're a part of something rather than being, you know, Keem Williams basketball, my name's on it all the time. I eventually want to let it go and, you know, put it in the right hands of people who want to continue to see the same thing. As far as bridging the gap, I mean, I want to put people in positions, like, you know, put other trainers in. Honestly, I've helped a lot of ex-players and a lot of people who are enthusiasts into the coaching world, whether it was a GA position, manager position. So, you know, those things as far as getting into the actual career path I've been a part of, as well as during my time with teams, I've seen how rookies struggled in that transition. And luckily for me, coming in my first year into the NBA, working with guys who are my age, I had that real life experience. My parents weren't going to let me, go through life not understanding how to grocery shop, how to pay bills, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. So coming into Phoenix, we had 5 or 6 rookies. Dudes didn't even know how to get groceries to their crib. And for me, that was one of the biggest things where I saw like, okay, I could really be an impact on and off the court, just teaching these young men life. And I'm young as well.
That's a good word. So like you teaching life lessons, rightfully so. I feel like you're a visionary. What do you feel like the obviously we still in the early stages. We learning in real time about strategic hustle in a session. What is your end game? What's the vision? What do you want to see it grow to?
Honestly, for me, I haven't made it that far. And to be fair, I'm not a long-term goal guy. I'm a where my feet are type of guy. And for me right now, I'm still learning and growing, working with other successful people. Because that's one of the things I say I struggled with throughout my entire career. Because like I said, I've put people who haven't had into positions for themselves and things like that. But I haven't successfully worked with a group of other successful people, like-minded people who honestly in other realms and things are far beyond and surpass me. So, being able to do that right now, I think is, really big for me. And I'm excited every day that we're taking 1 or 2 more steps forward.
I knew you took this seriously when on a panel discussion, you said you basically taking the whole year off.
Yeah.
Right. So like that tell me you really trying to lock in on this venture, if you will, right? So like, how hard was that decision to come to that when you've been doing something that you comfortable doing for 10 years, maybe
10
plus,
years,
so to speak, right? Coaching all over the world, NBA, Japan, etc. How hard was that decision to make for you?
It's tough. I'm still struggling with it today, still getting some phone calls, still saying no for right now, but in reality, though, I was actually just reading a book today, The Art of Laziness. And if you're not happy doing something, it's really hard to be impactful. And to be honest, as much as I love the game, love the sport, my impact with teams hadn't felt the same the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've always been an art guy, always been a business guy. I mean, shit, in middle school, I used to go to school in a suit. Like, I was...
Oh, you was that nigga.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
was wild. Little businessman.
I was excited. Like, I like to be clean. I mean, nowadays, you see me in my sweats and whatnot. Yeah. But, like, I always knew I was going to be a businessman.
Okay.
The reason I even knew that, I think it was maybe 4th grade. We all invented something, whatever. I built a wrist wallet out of paper. Everybody kind of laughed, thought it was a joke. Couple years later, I'm like maybe middle school, going into high school. I literally see people selling a wrist wallet. And I'm like, bruh.
That's me.
Hey,
I need my commission.
Hey, I was looking for it, but nah. For me, that's the thing. Like, I knew I'd be happy in this lane. I knew I'd be happy once again following my purpose, which is helping others get to places, but also doing it with you guys. And the fact that all of y'all are serious about it, I was like, yeah, I definitely want to spearhead this one.
Hey man, G Will, we right back to you.
A briefcase and suit in middle school is kind of crazy.
Bro, nobody said I had a briefcase.
I just feel like you did though. So
definitely had a briefcase.
He had
the suit, he had the briefcase.
Bro, I had a hoop backpack and a ball in my bag, bro. No briefcase.
Ready though.
That's crazy.
You had the hoop shorts.
The shorts on the exactly. Look,
Hey,
the shorts under the suit. Suit was baggy as hell.
G, you playing overseas. Obviously you impacting a lot of lives right now. Your following growing crazy. I'm in tune. And just the content you putting out, it really resonate, like you said, with a lot of players that been in them situations, right? Where is this stemming from? Like, is this like
experience.
Real emotion, experiences? Like
everything is real. Because
I feel like every post you make resonate with at least
Man, it's
1,000 people.
Facts. It's all real stuff, man, that I feel like we all go through, but a lot of guys are, I would say before, probably afraid to speak on it or don't really want to mention it. But for me, like as far as where I'm at in my career and everything else, I'm like, I feel like this is important for other people to know and be able to speak on, you know, because I've been cut and brought back. I've been not made teams and, you know, all types of stuff. So it's real stuff that people don't like to talk about or don't admit. But I mean, I've been through it all. So
right. Can you share some of those experiences that you've been through that you know, these pro players overseas for the people that don't know about this overseas experience?
Man, I had a team. I had a team once help me bring. I was in a relationship at the time. Help me bring my partner out there.
I think he told me this in
out
real
there
time.
About 4 or 5 days. Had a game. I was leading scorer on the team, by the way.
Right.
Until like the last game, had a terrible game, and they cut me. Both of us while we was there. Had her looking crazy at me. I was just confused at that. I was like, there's no way this is happening. You know.
What was that moment like for you though? This like year 11.
Yeah, this is
12,
right? Yeah, this
and
was
you
like,
getting cut. Your partner out there with you. She don't probably even understand overseas basketball life at this moment in time. So this was like a awakening to where it's like, oh, this how it really is.
It is that. Also, I had my one of my boys. He was on the same team, so they cut both of us, and he was going through the same thing. So I try to explain to people you can never be too comfortable, you know, in a lot of certain situations, you know, and depending on the leagues, you can have different guarantees and stuff like that. But I think that just goes to be a testimony of, you can't be too comfortable in certain situations, or even as far as getting on. I played in the Mexico, how I got to L&B first time. You know, that's why I tell people building your network is so important, because you never know who might be where, you know. And I was in Arizona training one summer, and the trainer I was training with ended up being an assistant coach in Mexico. And he had the head coach, of course, who had his guys and players they wanted to bring. And he was like, man, you should really take a look at this guy. You know, I was with him all summer. He could play. So bought my own bus ticket down to plane ticket down to Mexico. They bused me to the city. Yeah, no. Yeah, man. Pulled up to the training camp. Outplayed everybody. So the coach was like, okay, you know, give him a chance. Threw me in the first preseason game. I went crazy. Had like 20 and like 5 or something. They dropped somebody, signed me right after the game. And, you know, I tell people situations like that you probably never hear of, but they really happen. So
I went through the same situation. Yeah. I went out on like a little training camp deal in Mexico. First ever opportunity, you know. We killed, you know what I'm saying? Played the top team over there, killed. 14 years later, we here.
Exactly. Yeah,
praise God.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Reese, you got some of the best runs in the city. You know, you implement high school guys. You didn't have some overseas guys in there with you. Obviously, you got some Houston pros in there with you. Harrison Twins, Jay Sims. You know, Nate. What's it? West. Nate West. Yep. And so, what are you trying to do in those runs? Like, because I know it's just not runs. I know you having real talks with these individuals as well. So what you trying to implement?
I ain't gonna lie, I probably be doing too much in there.
I heard you do be talking crazy now. I heard you do be talking crazy now.
I be stopping dudes.
Crazy. Like, be stopping the games.
I mean, dudes gotta play the right way. It's too much high level stuff going on in the gym. Too many high level guys to be in here just coming down, playing ISO ball the whole time. And also, we got young dudes in the gym.
Yeah,
it's our responsibility to teach them the game and show them what's right and what's wrong. You know, especially when you are on the back ends of your career.
Yeah,
you know, we got 15, 16, 17-year-old kids in here that, you know, they don't get to go into a lot of environments with real pros that they can go on YouTube and look at, and then they sit right there with them in the gym. They get to guard them, they get to see how they play.
Yeah.
And you never know what they watching. You never know what they picking up on. Like, I'm in there teaching them the pistol and Spain pick and rolls and Iverson cuts, and like this is all regular stuff for us. But for them, they have no idea what this stuff is.
Yeah.
And then when you teach it to them and they learn how to run it and they take it with them to these other environments, they're a whole different player. They light years ahead. And we just did this in one open gym.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it has a real standing effect. So I mean, like G being there, like G being there laughing, I'd be like, "Hey, bro, hold on, bro.
G
Stop right here, bro. Pass the ball, bro."
G let me know when he get the wins though.
For sure.
Oh, he definitely gonna let
He
you
let me know
that. He
immediately.
definitely gonna
I
let
just
you
won
know.
the gym today, Shannon. You feel
What did
me?
he say about the last time he was in there?
Yeah.
He said he won.
Start playing for real. That's what happened.
Okay, there you go. Okay.
Start playing for real. They
It got real.
It took a little time, but he got to move it though. But no, he G come in there and he's the pro's pro. You know, I mess around with him and I be picking with him about him coming in the stretches and what. If you're really paying attention, you're looking at the consistency of what he's actually doing.
The preparation.
Yeah, like this is all the time. This is every single time, and this is a pro. This is what it takes. So when you got young dudes in the gym, like, yeah, we joking and I'm laughing and I'm telling them that I'm laughing at it, but then I'm going to the side being like, yo, you see what he doing?
Mm-hmm.
Don't take that lightly. Yeah,
so I know at like I've been in tune with you. So like at your camps, you have like a mental health aspect where you really just sit down all the kids, y'all journal, the emotions. What made you implement that in your camps? And like talk about like the importance of mental health at that age for those kids. So as they grow older, what they can take away from it.
It's just awareness. You know, that's really all we're trying to do is help them just become aware of emotions, feelings, environments, how they feel in certain environments, what other people make them feel. You know, we're not chasing one thing or another. I think KD had said something like real profound before. He was like, he wasn't chasing happiness. Yeah. You know, we're not chasing that. Like, is it a good thing? Of course. Do we want that? Yeah, of course. But it's not realistic to be that all the time. Yeah. But you need to be aware of who you are. And that's all it is, you know, with the young dudes, just helping them become more aware so that when they have their new experiences as they get older and they start to shape their mindsets, they're aware of, you know, who they are in those moments, and who they are in certain environments, who should be around them, where they should be, you know, environments that are welcoming for them and the ones that are not. Yeah, you know, just understanding stuff like that. So we give them the journals, we let them write down, whatever. It's not monitored. Just like, oh, whatever you feeling. If it's like, bro, I ain't feeling this, then right, I ain't feeling this, champ. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all good. But
you ain't got a lot of me.
This is awareness.
You ain't got a lot of me.
Like, this is what it is. So, you know, that's just how we try to do it.
Word. Keem, you I know you a stand-up man. Like you about your action, right? So like, we done had conversations, you know, all of us on the phone, and we done heard you say, you know, you don't play about being late. You don't play about you'll kick some kids out of the workouts if you will. You know what I'm saying?
Defensive slides.
Defensive slides. First of all, I ain't never heard defensive slides in a one-on-one workout, but you know, to each his own. You know what I'm saying? So what are you exactly trying to teach them in the moments? I feel like you like a modern day Coach Carter.
I mean, honestly, I do have an old school tendency because like I told you, I was observant. I've watched everybody from, like I said, my dad coming up to all the head coaches that I've worked for throughout my entire career. And at the end of the day, I think, you know, it's the principles of basketball. You have to be able to do everything, as well as, like I said, being on those teams, being on those staffs and things. I know what these guys are looking for. So, you know, in all, I just really want these guys to be prepared and successful for anything. And then the reason we do defensive slides, because at the end of the day, 95% of the people that's going to come through my gym, whether you're a pro or not, you're going to be a role player, bro. Right. Like, I just had Aaron Scott from St. John's, had a great college season. We went this whole summer. We're thinking about corner threes. We're thinking about defense. Boston not bringing you over there to be Jason Tatum. Yeah. Real life. So it's, you know, teaching them the real aspects of life, but also showing them, yo, you do those things, there's opportunity for you. You just got to be able to do step 1 in order to get to step 10. And I think, you know, sometimes in the training world, we kind of lose sight of that because, yeah, we do want guys to have the skill and, you know, all the things, but it's just sometimes you got to get back to the basics of what got us here. Yeah. I mean, some of my pros don't even come in to get a full skill workout. I just want to come in, shoot spots, go hard for 35 minutes, pay my hours worth, and I'm out of here. Yeah. Like, and I think, you know, when the kids see that, they're like, okay, he was efficient with the work. He was this, he was that. But I'm also to the point to where like you said, Coach Carter, I built that relationship with guys. So just like Reese, when I'm talking crazy to him, telling him to do defensive slides, telling them, yo, that's just not good enough. Like, they're receptive to it, one, because they know I care for them.
Yeah.
I probably spend more time on the phone with these kids than I do in the gym.
Okay.
Because throughout the season, I'm sending guys film, and it don't matter what level you're at, high school, college, pro, I'm going to send you your film. I'm going to look at this, look at that for you. Shoot, you need to vent. I done been through all them situations G post about too. So like I could kind of help them navigate that as well. And, just kind of being a big brother that I've kind of been. Cause I mean, having one brother my entire life, it was cool. But now, you got like 10 million of them and some of them older than you. So, it's all been very impactful for me, but also just impacting their lives makes me feel halfway decent about myself.
On the Underrated podcast, I always like to highlight individuals who been through adverse situations, came out on the other side of it to a position of prominence, if you will. And if each one of y'all can give just a little snippet of something y'all been through. Obviously, we in different positions now. Obviously, you retired. You done build your brand trusted legacy. Keem, you still navigating 10 years coaching. Now you finna take a break to push strategic hustle. G Will, you know what I'm saying? Me and you done had real conversations. You said you thinking about retirement, but you still love it. So you're gonna keep going till the wheels fall off. But you still at the same time pushing, playing overseas. Can you tell us, just give the people a little snippet of like your story? Each one of y'all, please.
So as he said, I was born and raised in Houston, A-Leaf.
A-Leaf should be his
regardless, y'all count Highway 6 in Bel Air A-Leaf or not, it's still A-Leaf. But yeah, at a young age, man, I was about to get serious. No, man, but at a young age, man, long story short, I ended up moving from Houston to Virginia, actually, at age of 14. Just had a lot going on at the time. My father was voluntarily deported back to Nigeria. And, it was a lot. We was 5 of us. It was a lot for my mom to take care of. So I ended up moving to Virginia, where my 21-year-old brother became my legal guardian. A lot of people don't even know that, So we went through all kinds of struggles that kind of forced me to grow up quickly. And, I think that kind of built my character to the person I am today. But, man, I tell us people, the journey I took to get to my professional career, and even where I still go, I've been playing, as you said, 12, 13 years pro. And during those years, I've lost my father, my sister, cousins. And I tell people every time I leave, it's like almost like a traumatic experience, because I'm like, man, I don't know what's going to happen when I'm gone, So that's why I tell people how important it is to build your community as far as networking. That's hopefully something I can do also with my brand and company, just for people to reach out with. But I feel like I've overcame so much in my life and in my journey to where I do feel certain. I don't know what the word would be, but when I'm able to help a guy, reach that level, and they send me a long message like, bro, thank you for just even helping me, etc. I was like, that makes me feel like what I'm doing is the right thing, and I get the same excitement I do from playing the game that I do from helping somebody. So feel like I'm on the right path.
Amen.
As far as adversity goes, I mean, mine's kind of been consistent. I mean, being a military brat, both my parents, my mom served 20. My dad did his 4 and got up out of there, played a little basketball while he was at it. But we moved around a lot. And coming to Houston for the first time in second grade, going into 3rd grade, was the first time we saw consistency. And I stayed, in Houston, moved around a little bit, but from 3rd grade to 11th grade, I was here. And going into my coaching career, I wouldn't say it was traumatic, but, like I said, it was consistent. The same thing continuously happened. As I took my first job with Phoenix, our head coach was fired. They cleaned house. At that time, I really don't have a mentor. I don't really have, anybody guiding me, because the people before me haven't been in that spot.
Yeah.
And that year, I was actually the youngest person on the NBA staff across the entire league. So I'm thinking, you know, maybe, you know, something's just gonna fall in my lap. Not knowing how to navigate it, not knowing how to do anything. Somehow, some way, I don't even remember how it happened, but I ended up in Indonesia that summer.
Mm-hmm.
After that summer time, I think I came back here like October.
Yeah.
And at that point, school started. Teams already started training camp, practicing, playing. And I'm like, bro, what I'm finna do? I'm on Google looking for a coaching job. Like, came up, got a head video coordinator spot at South Carolina, at Coastal Carolina. At the end of that year, COVID happens.
Yeah.
So I'm back at home and still not understanding how to navigate this stuff, nothing. Like, I'm just, that's when I started Power Vision. Power Vision went on for, I don't know how long COVID was, but, you know, that took off well. And then right after that, you know, guys started leaving for jobs. Finally, COVID kind of opened up. And it's like, what do I do next? Luckily, got a phone call late. Hey, we want you here at UT Tyler. First time for me to think about Division II, think about, you know, money, things like that. Cause it's like, okay, all this stuff comes into play. End up leaving UT Tyler to go back to Coastal because they called, offered a bag, and, you know, I had to slide. Have a great year that year. Head coach gets fired. So now I'm in Greece. I took my first vacation of my life. I'm in Greece, get the phone call. Yo, they let us go. Now, I just blew a bag to come to Greece thinking we coming back next year. like,
what you mean?
So like I'm in Greece, kind of sick to my stomach, trying to enjoy myself, but like trying to figure out what's next.
Yeah.
After that, I ended up taking a job in Taiwan. That was a great experience. You know, that was for me, you know, something different. Being over there, finally getting a spot where I'm an assistant, I'm the head assistant, and I'm directing the player development. So, you know, this time I feel like big dog. We actually got Troy Williams, ex-NBA guy, Dwight Howard, who's now a Hall of Famer. Shout out to my dog, D12. End of that year, funny story. So this is where I start relating to G. Last few games of the season, we're taking a bus trip or a train trip out somewhere. You know, I get a text like, yo, you and Troy are going back to the crib, but we're all riding in different trains. So I'm thinking like, all right, like what's going on, whatever. I text the head coach because he in the sweet train, you know, the green seats, and no response. Like, all right, so I'm just going back. I'm thinking like
That's
Troy.
So lame to me.
I'm thinking Troy did something.
That's lame as hell.
Crazy.
Long story short, I'm sitting in that room for like a week. Nobody hit me back with nothing concrete.
Crazy.
Like I'm hitting the driver. We going to practice? Like what we doing? Nobody hit me with nothing. I'm already knowing what time it is. So like the whole time, like this is my first time getting cut, first time anything. So I'm just like, yo, what's like, I don't even want to leave my room. I'm like, they locked this motherfucker. I can't get back in. Like, I end up coming back home, whatever. They got 2 games left. The whole organization ended up running out of money.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what really ended up happening with that. But still being sent home early, not knowing what's going on was crazy. And then that's another job cut short.
What did you learn about yourself throughout this process, though?
Throughout this entire process, I just knew I was gonna find a way. Okay. And I've always known that though.
That's
my mom was that way. Anytime we needed anything, whether we had it or not, she was gonna make a way to figure that out. And then, I mean, I've also gave myself a harder road than needed to, because I had 2 great loving parents. Never, like I said, never really struggled for much. But like in my head, I know who I'm up against.
Yeah.
I went to Lockhart Elementary. So I hadn't seen it as soon as I came to Houston. Like, you know, Third Ward ain't the best place. You know, kids are struggling. My mama taking care of kids. She's actually teaching special ed, and you know, we staying after school. I'm seeing everybody, all my friends. You know, shit, you can't spend the night over here. Shit like that. Like I'm already knowing. So in my head, I've always made shit harder on myself.
Yeah.
Cause it's like, that's who you competing against, bro. They not finna take it nice and easy on you cause you living good over here 30 minutes away. Like, so for me, that was always a thing. I'm gonna make a way with or without help.
Amen.
But yeah, no, and I mean, that's been the journey. After that Taiwan, go to LA thinking it's sweet, you know, good year. We go playoffs once again, first round exit, first year on Darvin Ham's contract. So I'm thinking, yeah, we finna bounce back. Nah, be him out of there. And then, you know, luckily fell into the Japan thing last minute before last season. And, you know, they hadn't won more than 20 games the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Come there. I'm the head of player development. I'm touching everybody. I'm also working on the offense as well. So, like, I'm hands on everything.
How many games y'all won?
33.
Y'all made playoffs?
No, we didn't.
Oh, I mean, that's a crazy jump.
But
that's still a crazy jump.
33 wins out of a 60-game season.
And
I'm the only thing that changed.
Yeah, hey, come on now.
Right.
But still, hey, head coach out of there, I'm out of there. So it was just, you know, it's been a crazy journey. And I think for me right now, coming back to Houston, finding that love, finding that consistency, you know, giving back to the people who supported me through my entire journey.
Yeah.
That's gonna be everything.
Everything. Reef?
Man, that was good stuff. Both of y'all, I ain't gonna lie.
Keem took all the time. I would have spoke a little more.
My fault, big dog.
Everything when it's rolling, it's rolling. When it's rolling, it's rolling. Man, I'm gonna reflect on just like a particular moment that I could think of, like a stretch. My freshman year in college was probably the most adversity that I saw at that time in my life, you know, easily. My best friend's sister passed away in August. He was like my brother, you know. He was one of the first people that I met when I moved to Richmond. I moved to Richmond from North Carolina when I was 9 years old. That's been my dog since. Yeah. He just got married this weekend too, so, you know, congrats to him. I was the best man in his wedding, but, you know, his sister passed away in August. And that, like, having to, you know, go and pick him up and tell him and take him to the hospital, you know, like all that stuff, you know, get calls from his peoples. That was like one of the roughest things that had ever, you know, happened. That was so close, you know, to me at that time. And then in the aftermath of that, a few months later, my high school coach passed away. He passed away on the day that I played my first ever national TV game. So he never got to see me play a college basketball game because he was in the hospital before that. And then a month after that, my son is born. Sean, you know, was born. So that
the beauty of life,
man. You know, you see how it goes, and that I needed a motivation, you know, in that time because to have those two people who were pillars, you know, in my life, pass away so soon. Both young, you know, in a sense. And to have my son be born in January right after that, it was, you know, it's the cycle. You know, you see the cycle of life, but I needed that from him. I needed him, you know, in that moment to be able to continue just to press forward, you know, for a young dude. Yeah. You know, I was ready to come home. Like, it took me, I didn't even warm up in that game. I didn't even go out to warm-ups. I sat in the locker room the entire time. I was like, well, I'm just going to go back home. You know, especially once my son was born after that, I was like, I'm just going to go back to home. Right. Maybe play at VCU or something like that. And so I can be at the crib, you know, to be with my son day to day. Because that's, you know, as you guys know, my family, that's the most important thing for me. So I think going through that, 5 month stretch. Yeah. That it provided something for me that carried with me throughout my entire life until this day. You know, it's not that like we need things like that to happen in order to catapult us, but it can definitely be a motivation and a motive for us. Yeah. To keep pushing forward and to keep to continue what you're doing. And also you got to embrace the support that's around you. I had a lot of support from my family, my friends, my mom, you know, all the, like a ton of support, you know, throughout my entire life, quite honestly, you know, so it wasn't far-fetched for them to be there in those moments, but, you know, they would need it, you know, especially then.
That's a good word.
What about yourself, man? I want to hear one of these stories from you
One
too.
of my stories? Shoot, I got a lot. So like,
yeah, that's why I just picked one.
Growing up in A-Leaf, my mama, she raised me, my brother, my sister alone. You know what I'm saying? And then also like, we was on Spice Lane, Stone Ridge Apartments. We was AD, 2-bedroom, right? But I feel like when I look back, those were some of like the like most fun times because you with your people and you don't even know what's going on outside of what's going on until like you get exposed to something else, so to speak, if you will. You know what I'm saying? So like, we putting a grocery cart on the fence to hoop, you know what I'm saying? And then when you go around the corner to your homie house, you like, oh, you got a whole basketball goal. You know what I'm saying? And then like, just them humble beginnings kept me in a spirit of like gratitude. You know what I'm saying? And then also like, I mean, a lot of people know my story now because I done said it. Like when I got my first opportunity, I was down 2 years before I got the first opportunity. So like I was grinding 3-4 times a day with Big Lucas, right? I ain't had gas to go home, so I sleep in the gym. And then I like sleep in the Bonneville as well, like because that's just a sacrifice you got to make at times. Like if you really like passionate, if you really love what you're trying to do. And I knew what basketball meant to me. And then I got a lot of gratitude to this cat named Steve Walton. He gave me opportunity. He took me to Mexico, was like, look, just come on this travel tour with me. I don't know what's going to come of it, but it's an opportunity. And one of my mantras now is every opportunity is an opportunity. No matter if you, let's relay it to a basketball game. If you play 2 minutes, 20 minutes, 10 minutes, you never know who's watching. You never know what's going to come up out of the opportunity, but you can be grateful because of what you put into that opportunity. Like you can't control what the coach do. You can't control if he pull you out. You can't control none of that, but you can control your mindset going into the game and how you impacting the game in them little 2 minutes, 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes. And I got that opportunity in Mexico. I made $500 a month. My mom's wasn't working. I sent her like $350. Held on like $150. Paid my tithes to the church. And 14 years later, we trying to build strategic hustle for the people. You feel what I'm saying? So they can touch us, so we can touch the businesses, so we can impact those lives, those kids that's trying to navigate life, trying to tap into an NIL, and then you got family members trying to tap into that NIL as well. And we trying to be the resource to them and let them know, like, look, we've been in them situations. Like, we done seen checks for $50,000. We done seen checks for 40,000. You know what I'm saying? We done seen this, so we know how to like navigate this and put it to youth to give it back to the community. So, underrated podcast, Shannon Shorter. This is a very special episode for me. We got G Will playing overseas, Keem Williams, Power Vision, Shannon Shorter, the Underrated Podcast, It's the Only Right Foundation, Tyrese Rice, Trusted Legacy. Tune in to the episode, tune in to the podcast, however you watch it, YouTube. If you tune in on our IG underrated, the underscore the underrated podcast, follow, like, comment, support. I'm doing real things out here trying to impact the people. Stay tuned.